Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming to this talk. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here to show you something that I'm very passionate about. So I'm going to talk to you about this open source payment stack where it's going to be likely built upon open source software like Odoo, as well as cryptocurrencies. In particular, we think Bitcoin will be an important medium of exchange payment method in the future, and we're trying to build the software to make that happen. So why are we doing this? Well, traditional business systems, they're pretty restrictive in their ways of payment. These are government-created monetary systems that require permission to have an account and to transact with someone else. With this permission, it creates concerns about privacy. They can see what you've done in the past, what you're doing, and possibly predict what you're going to do in the future. Shut off your accounts, reverse your transactions. So this results in a loss of control and then personal sovereignty. Merchants have a limited choice of payment processors out there, and these come with a cost. And this cost is often related to the volume. So for a small business, it's kind of a regressive cost. Small businesses proportionally pay a higher cost. So we think there's an alternative out there with cryptocurrencies that are based upon this new technology of blockchain. These blockchains exist in the digital realm, but they exist as a network. And these networks are actually made of people. So these are examples of meetups that we have over in my state of Michigan, across the state, where people get together, talk about this new form of payments and transactions, and how they can put it into practice in their lives. From this, I was inspired to create a point of sale that could do cryptocurrency payments alongside cash and credit cards. And that led me to find Odoo. So we started by building modules for the point of sale application. But Odoo is pretty amazing, and it allows you to do e-commerce alongside of traditional invoicing with payment links. So we've built modules for those three different sales channels. Just to give you an overview of how this actually works on a technical level. So we'll start with our blockchain down at the bottom left. You can think of this as a book where you're adding pages to it. But each page, as it gets added, has a history of the previous pages. So you can add information to it, but you can't change what happened in the past. There's some limitations to that. So there's now these second networks built on top of the blockchain, but secured by it. And these are called layer 2s. This allows people to transact with each other in a very fast and cheap way and have it secured by the blockchain, but not have to put all of their information there. To interact with these two networks, you ultimately need a computer running software that's tailored to that. And this is going to be a node on the network. So you could have a node on your own computer, a personal node, or you could be using a service out there in the cloud, a cloud node. These nodes often have an API access to them. So you can have an outside program sending information back and forth. And we took advantage of that to build these modules in Odoo. So these modules in Odoo take the orders within Odoo, whether it's e-commerce or point of sale, and then generates the transaction that the customer could pay. And for their easy interaction, it's displayed as a QR code usually. Then the module will verify that that transaction was paid, and people aren't just telling you that they've paid it when they didn't. So our modules, they're kind of in two layers, actually. We have a base module that just creates some of the database fields that are used for the accounting. And then we have service provider specific modules that fill in that information and do the API communication. So we've built for a few different payment gateways or service providers. We started with BTCpay. It's a very popular payment gateway. It allows people to host their own payment gateway as well as possibly have someone else do it for them, something like Voltage. For versatility, we've built with NOWPayments, which is a very wide-ranging payment provider for a number of different cryptocurrencies, 300 plus, and they also give you options to interconvert. And then finally, we're building for Breeze, which doesn't require you to have your own Bitcoin and Lightning node, but it's still self-custodial. You control your funds, and they can't be taken by that service provider. We're interested in that physical economy, those people that are getting together in these meetups. So we're targeting restaurants, places where we can actually transact directly with the business. But these could work for other businesses that are trying to get away from the licensing costs as well as the payment processing costs. This could also apply to independent entrepreneurs that have some tech skills. And finally, this would be great for existing Odoo users and businesses, like some people in this room. So building upon open source software, we think gives us a competitive advantage, allows us to bring a lot of features out into the market that don't currently exist. So in addition to that point of sale, we have invoicing and e-commerce provided by Odoo, as well as that full ERP system. And finally, the open source nature allows you to customize and add features or functions as you need. So I'll walk you through some of the basic steps and then give you a brief demo. So we're starting with an account or an outside service provider already, and then we create that payment method in Odoo, basically providing it the server that we're going to talk to, as well as the API key to access it. We then, in the case of the point of sale, add that payment method to the point of sale so it can be selected as part of an order just in the traditional flow. So here the payment method exists alongside of cash and cards. But if the customer wants, they can select a cryptocurrency option as well. So if the cryptocurrency is selected, a QR code can be added to the receipt. This could be presented to the customer on the screen or printed out, left on the table, not really disrupting the usual meal or way of transacting. Finally, this information is stored for the merchant's reference in Odoo. This will help them with their future accounting, which is also a major pain point for them. So let's take a look at these modules. So we'll look at NOWPayments. So we have two different ways that we could have this configured. We could have it configured with a payment link, which will essentially take the customer to a website where they'd have an option to select from lots of different cryptocurrencies to pay from. Our other option is this direct invoice, where the merchant has selected a specific cryptocurrency to display, and then that QR code is going to have the address or invoice that the customer is going to pay directly within their wallet. So let's build an order here. We're just going to buy some beer, some Detroit Hustles Harder Lager, or IPA. So we've selected the cryptocurrency. And here, this is basically a web address. If you wanted, you could scan it, bring up the website where you could pay from the long list of cryptocurrencies. Now down here, the invoiced cryptocurrencies to be determined because the customer hasn't selected which one yet, and the conversion rate also is yet to be determined. If we were to select Ethereum, now we have a QR code that corresponds to an Ethereum address. And we're also seeing the amount of Ethereum that the customer is going to be paying, as well as the conversion rate. And this conversion rate is being set by the merchant. So this has not been paid, so it won't validate. So we still have a pending payment, and this is telling us the status is waiting for the customer to pay. So we've been trialing this at some restaurants locally. Some of the feedback we've received has to do with the limitations of the Odoo point of sale, the features and the functions of that. So we are looking forward to the improvements that Odoo is going to make on that application. We've built some customizations to improve some of those workflows as well. And we're just continuing to develop and try this out. This is largely open source. It's up here on GitHub. If you have a point of sale or you got a website, you want to try this out, feel free. Grab our code, fork it, contribute. All of that would be totally welcome. We try to have pretty good readmes, walk you through the setup. This is the setup generally in Odoo. So if you need a little bit of help on the node side, drop me a line, and we'll see what we can do with you. And I have to thank my team. A couple of guys contributed their time, their passion alongside me. So my friend Brendan has handled our user research, as well as being an excellent designer, giving us nice graphics and explanations. Sagar's picked up development. He's really a lot of the magic sauce about how we've built what we've done so far. And Ash is helping us with deployments on personal nodes, as well as virtual machines and Kubernetes, so everything can kind of go out together. So thank you, and I'd love to have some questions.
Do you hear me now? Yeah? Right. I was saying thank you very much for the presentation. We have some time for on-flying questions, so if you have anything, raise your hand and I will come to you with the mic. Any question? Don't be shy. May I ask you to maybe advance a bit because I have a wire.
I want to ask if we can use it in the e-commerce part.
Yeah, there's e-commerce modules as well, already developed.
Okay, and like when we use it in the e-commerce parts, can we just download the app from GitHub and the plugin and install it in Odoo and use it, or we need some API key from you or from other provider?
You don't need an API key from me. You need an API key from the service providers. Yeah. So you would either need to have your own BTCpay and generate the API key within there, or create a NOWPayments account and get their API key access.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
We did target service providers that are very easy to get accounts with. Some are more stringent than others, so our criteria is something that lets most people get onto it.
Maybe another question, yeah?
So I'm wondering about the consumer side. Are customers actually paying with crypto right now? Do you have any percentages, some trends you're seeing? And second question is it only Bitcoin that the module supports or other cryptocurrencies as well?
There is a limited demand from the consumer side. There's enthusiasts out there that will go to a location specifically to try it out. So having that little bit of publicity that we had did bring in what we call organic users. Handful, couple dozen people over several weeks. To your second question, is it limited to Bitcoin? NOWPayments gives you 300 plus options. So that might be what you want to go for the versatility. There's pros and cons to each approach, but they're also not exclusive.
Thank you. Another question? Yeah. May I ask you to advance, maybe? The wire.
Hello. Strike has launched an API with the BTC server, which you can connect 50% fiat currency and 50% Bitcoin. Can you do this also with this module?
I didn't catch the full question. Are you saying you have the BTC Pay set up to already do that, or
Yes.
is it just possible?
Yeah, but Strike, you know Strike from Jack Mellers?
Yeah.
Yes. They have now an API with the BTC server, I think. Yes.
I would have to check what their latest developments are. BTC Pay did have a
Yeah.
plugin called Transmuter that was supposed to assist with that conversion, but we don't currently have that working. But I'd love to see what the other options are now.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That is definitely one of the next pain points, conversion to fiat, and then accounting for that. So that's, yeah, on our roadmap.
Yeah. Okay. And can you convert it directly from Bitcoin to fiat currency, or?
NOWPayments lets you do that, but BTC Pay, you have to figure out that configuration still.
Yeah. But the problem is, yeah, when you get a payment in Bitcoin and Bitcoin goes down 10%, and yeah, maybe it's better to convert this directly to fiat currency. But it's my.
Totally true. Yep.
Thank you. Another question, maybe? We still have a bit of time, so do not hesitate at all. Yeah, maybe one?
I have another question, like how it goes to the accounting part of Odoo.
So that's something we're still trying to address. It basically gets accounted for as USD right now. So yeah, accounting is a major pain point that ultimately we do need to address. It's also why we're kind of doing it open source to get many minds and developers on it.
Thank you.
Thank you. One or two last question? Someone? Last chance.
Or find me around. Thanks.
So you can find the presenter at the end of the auditorium, so feel free to ask any question over there at this moment. Thank you.